and your sports network.
Yeah, I've been closer to Jesus before, so can you help me out? Oh, can you help me out? Am I on my own? Am I on my own? But can you help me out? Am I on my own? Am I on my own? Or can you help me out? Can you help me out? I've been scared to look in my soul. I've been afraid I would follow the road. Yeah, afraid of the things I've been told.
What's up, party people? Anthony Hartwig with you alongside Ty Bartell, and it is a Tuesday edition of Running Point on ysnlive.com, brought to you by Greenwood Chevrolet in Austintown. We're going to be joined right off the top of the show. We're wasting no time. We got a lot of guests for you today and tomorrow and Thursday and all week, really. But for now, we are joined by Ryan Snyder, the head girls basketball coach. Oh, we just lost him. We'll try to get him back.
Unfortunate. Glitch Gremlins are starting early today. They're not wasting any time.
I keep telling people stop feeding these things after midnight. No one listens.
It's after Halloween too. Like, come on, isn't it November? We have Thanksgiving to worry about at this point. What are we doing?
All right, now we got him back. Coach, thank you so much for taking the time to join us.
How we doing today, Coach? Looks like we might be still having some issues with the Glitch Gremlins. 1 second here.
You know, it looks like Coach is in the car, which can always be, always spell nightmares for connections.
Let's see. Just having trouble hearing you, Coach. We're going to try to work something out real quick. Hold on. All right.
Well, while we wait to fix that, we'll let everyone know the comment section is brought to you by Boardman Mitsubishi, and it is open. Whether you're watching on YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, or Twitch, you can leave us a comment. We would love to hear from you. And, you can comment to Coach Snyder. You can comment to us. We'd love to hear from our wonderful fans at YSN. Comment section, once again, brought to you by Boardman Mitsubishi.
Yeah, as we are going to try to wait here patiently to try to get Coach Snyder back on, of course, with Lisbon girls basketball as the Blue Devils looking to come back into this season of play. And it's going to be an interesting season at that, I think, for the Lady Blue Devils this year. As last year, you saw them in a lot of games too. They were pretty competitive in a decent amount of games too. Games against teams such as Heartland Christian, Latonia, winning against Southern, competing very well against East Palestine. There were some teams too, wins against Wellsville as well. And we know, of course, playing in that EOAC, it's going to be a pretty wide open division, I think, this year in both boys and girls. It's going to be interesting. A lot of basketball is going to be wide open this year. And I think it's going to be a very interesting EOAC slate for Lisbon this year, and seeing what they're able to do against those EOAC opponents. I think that's really going to dictate how good of a season they can truly have.
See if we can get Coach on. Can you hear us now, Coach?
I got you now.
All right, we got him. Glitch Gremlins are taken care of. Coach, thank you so much for joining us today.
Absolutely. Thanks for having me.
Coach, my first question for you, too, and looking at this team last year, I think you'll say it, and I've already said it, a lot more competitive than what we can give them credit for, I think, record-wise. So looking at what this team did last year, name some of those players that you expect to be big name players for you this year, as well as some of those dark horse younger players that you think are going to have a big impact on the court. There we go.
Ty, you might have to repeat your question.
All right. Did you hear me at all with that one, Coach?
Just when we thought the glitch gremlins were.
We did.
This.
They're back. They're back in full force, and they are not playing nice today at all.
They're back in full force. We can see you, Coach. You're moving.
All right. Coach says he can get on in about 20-something minutes here. Yeah, you know what, Coach? Yeah, if you can get on, we're going to be bringing on Coach Francis Shelley, but if you can get on before that, if you're able to, we can do that. That works as well. As we know, sometimes glitch gremlins, depending on where you are, depending on if you're in a car, if you're in certain areas with Wi-Fi, they don't like to play nice too. And it may seem like everything's working without a hitch, and then you get on, and then all of a sudden audio or camera issues. I've had my fair share of battles with the gremlins as well. So we're definitely going to work things out with Coach Snyder and still try to bring him on. He said he could be on in about 22 minutes if it works. So we can wait for Coach Snyder. We might be able to get him on just before Coach Francis Shelley at the half-hour mark of the hour, of the noon hour, and we can get both Snyder and Francis Shelley back-to-back, boom, boom, and our coaches from Lisbon girls to McDonald boys. Of course, we also have Josh Scott scheduled to appear later in the show. That is the Heartland boys basketball coach over at 1 o'clock. And also programming notes for the rest of the week. I'll just go ahead and let everyone in on that for the rest of the week for our basketball coaches. Tomorrow, top of the hour, we're scheduled with David Crimson, the Columbiana girls head basketball coach. We're going to be talking with him at the top of the show tomorrow at 12:15. Roy Sembach, the Newton Falls boys basketball coach, scheduled for 12:15. At 12:45, we have Pat Birch, the Boardman boys basketball coach, scheduled. We have Crestview volleyball coming on, I believe. Anthony, you got the information on that. Crestview volleyball scheduled to appear tomorrow as well.
Coach Hour and a handful of players will come on, talk about their district championship, talk about the challenges that lie ahead in the regional semifinals. We're going to have a fun time with them tomorrow, previewing this game at Barberton on Thursday.
Yep, and then, of course, Scotty's tomorrow, and then I'll just go ahead and go one more day. We'll preview that Thursday matchup for you, or Thursday for you as well. Matchup, I'm so into football. Thursday, we have 4 basketball coaches as of right now on the slate for you, as Chris Huxold is going to be leading things off at 12:30. Lisbon boys basketball coach for us on Thursday. This is November 4th. At 1 o'clock, we got Michael Wernicke, the Struthers boys basketball coach that's coming on. Tom Siegfried, the Louisville boys basketball coach, coming on at 1:15. And Justin Rahim, the Heartland girls basketball coach, coming on at 1:45. That is scheduled for Thursday. So those are your next couple of days. Basketball coaches on the slate. A total of 10 basketball coaches will be interviewing in the next few days. Each of them going to get some decent time to preview not only their teams, but their staffs, their schedules, and it's right around the corner. We're now officially in the month of November, and now clock's ticking until the start of the season.
Yeah, you look at Lisbon last year, 3-11 total on the year, but they do bring back quite a bit of experience. So we talked about this yesterday with a couple of the coaches. We talked about growing pains in the year where you're young can lead to experienced quality basketball teams the year after.
And the biggest thing is, and you talk about that young players, it's curious to see, and that's the first thing I always try to ask too, and that's one thing I'm curious about with Coach Snyder. How many of those girls are returning? And that's the big thing. And it could be for a number of reasons that a girl doesn't return. That isn't just aging out. They could just not be interested in the sport. It could be other sports, other priorities, other things can take over. So it's always important to kind of see what you got before the season. And of course, we know as other sports are going on too, sometimes kids like to take a little bit of a rest period in between sports, and sometimes coaches are more receptive to allowing the student athletes to be able to do that. Like you said, though, Anthony, a lot of freshmen that were on this team last year that had some significant playing time, as well as some juniors. So if these freshmen come back, and you talk about the experience, hey, there's nothing that can quite replace experience in the sport of basketball. And I think having a boatload of girls that were freshmen, that if they had decent, valuable game playing experience, and if they're led by some pretty good seniors, it's all about buying into a program. They were competitive last year. Now can they start continuing to develop themselves into beating these teams now?
Yeah, and one of those juniors last year that's going to be a senior this year that really you got to watch out for when you're watching Lisbon is Parker Henthorne. I mean, she's going to be a key to their success. Their offense is going to run through her, and she's a pretty good defender as well.
Yeah, and no doubt. And when we're going to be looking at too, I think going into this season is really that shooting of Lisbon is what's going to be very impressive, because if you're able to get that shooting to fall in and you could start becoming respectable in that deep threat, I think it's going to open things up tremendously for Lisbon. And if they're shooting at a good clip, especially from the perimeter, I think this is definitely something that you could see them start to thrive at. And of course, you mentioned Parker Henthorne too. Decent size at 5'8" too, so a decent height too in girls basketball. She's kind of in that in between area too. But it's going to be interesting as she's going into her senior year, I believe. And she's going to be one of the leaders of this team, I think, no question. And I mean, a lot of these younger players, the freshmen that are now sophomores, going to be looking up to her. I think this has got to be an interesting time and an exciting time at that too for Coach Snyder. Just having these younger players, and it's kind of whatever you want to mold the team into now. You have the opportunity to do so.
Really, the EOAC should be pretty open. I mean, United has a young team right along with them. They've looked very promising. They obviously were close to getting into that top spot of the EOAC with that loss to East Palestine late in the season. But they're going to be heard from. East Palestine, we already talked to him. Valley Christian is going to be heard from. But Lisbon, Columbiana, those are the kind of teams they're going to be trying to make strides to get back into that fray. I mean, Lisbon has been at the top of the OAC before. They're not very far removed from a very good basketball team. Neither is Columbiana, so they're proud of girls' basketball programs. I was there for a volleyball match last week, and you look up into the rafters. Well, not the rafters, the ceiling. And the girls' basketball 1,000-point scorers, there's 7 of them. And that's a proud program. You look at Kayla Maslowski leading them with over 1,600 points in her career. You know, that's a proud girls basketball program that has had a lot of success. And Columbiana, East Palestine, Lisbon, those kind of teams, they're looking to kind of make those strides back to what they were. You muted, Ty.
Yep, there we go. Couple years ago, too, you go back to the 2019-2020 season, Lisbon was 8-12. Back in 2018-2019, they were 13-7. So like you said, it's not far removed from having that success. And you talk about growing pains. When you start as many freshmen get significant playing time, freshman, sophomore, underclassmen get playing time, you're going to have a little bit of those growing pains, and they got to play a little bit of catch up. But now I think that this season and the seasons following, you're going to start to realize how important it was getting those freshmen and sophomores that playing time that they did in their younger years, because you're going to see those improvements and you're going to see them start reaching their potential, I think, and peaking a lot earlier. And I shouldn't even say peaking, because I think there's a lot of talent too, especially at the high school level, that it's hard to peak at that high school level talent wise. I always feel like you could always get better in any sport. But I mean, that's the biggest thing with them, is you're going to see them further along in their development now in their junior, their senior years, and especially this year. And I think that's going to be important, as this is kind of, I feel like, maybe not the year you see Lisbon back at the tops of the EOAC, and I could be wrong, anything could happen with a wide open, but you might see them now make that turn of being, we're going to be more competitive. And then I think the following 2 years, you might see Lisbon right back where they were at the tops of that. It's all about development, though, and it's about seeing how far these younger girls are developed. I think this season is the biggest thing, and where they are skill set wise and how they're playing on the court. I think that's going to be the biggest determining factor, and it's just something we have to wait to see.
Yeah, no doubt about it. And, you know, when Lisbon's in that situation where they had really good players kind of graduate in the same kind of time frame, and that's why they're kind of in a quote-unquote rebuilding stage, because, you know, when you have a big senior class, you're going to have a really young team the next year. But we all remember what Izzy Perez was able to do at Lisbon. We all remember names like Kennedy Pisano and you know, her sister Carly. You got to get those names back. Parker Henthorne might be the next big name at Lisbon. I think she has a very good chance to make some splashes in the EOAC this year.
There we go. And like I said, too, there is plenty of people, our players' names right now, both on the boys and girls side, that we aren't even mentioning right now. And I promise you, there's a lot of names that we don't know, we're not talking about right now. But I promise you, we're going to be talking about you come December, come January, because there's a lot of conferences in this whole area, both boys and girls side, that are wide open, that graduated a lot of seniors last year. So this is the opportunity for a lot of these younger players and those players that maybe haven't gotten as many mentions to kind of step into that spotlight a little bit and take over. And I think that's going to be the most exciting thing this season, is who's going to be the next big names of these schools.
So while we have the time, let's highlight a big matchup on the soccer field tonight. Excuse me. We have one girls team left in the YSN family as far as playing for a state championship, and it is South Range. Tonight they have a regional semifinal matchup with Doylestown Chippewa, and this will be at a neutral site in Marlington High School, so not too far away for Raider Nation. It's a maybe a half an hour trip from South Range up into the Alliance area to get to Marlington, so not a huge trip for you. Doylestown Chippewa, that'll be at 7:00, and South Range girls looking to keep the line moving. They went to the regional finals last year, and they lost to Kirtland. And guess who's in the other, regional bracket awaiting them if they were able to win? Kirtland's playing Berkshire. So those are the two matchups that are squared up with each other that would find each other's next round opponent.
Gonna have to start calling them Super Range and call Kirtland night, because that's exactly what it is. It is a kryptonite for South Range, it seems like, and it's always them that they run into. But this is your chance too to kind of cleanse yourself of those demons of Kirtland, being that kind of buzzsaw that keeps running into South Range teams every year. But this is their opportunity to you got to beat Doylestown first, though.
Last year, because the football playoffs were back a little bit, at this time we were in like the regional finals. Like this week was the regional final week, and it lined up where South Range girls played Kirtland in the regional finals, and then a couple of hours later, football team played Kirtland in the regional finals too.
And you got to imagine everyone in South Range is thinking about that. And now you got to beat Doylestown first. And obviously we have to, that has to be the prerequisite, but I'm going to obviously look ahead and talk about the fact that you might get a repeat of both of those. And it's a chance for both teams to kind of cleanse themselves of those demons that have been haunting them the last year, saying that both teams, I think, had a very good chance at beating Kirtland too. And I think they had their opportunities. And I think if they had a chance to play the game differently, they would have. And I think that's going to be interesting to see for the Raiders, both on the soccer and football field, if they are going to get matched up again with Kirtland, how they do against the Hornets.
And just to look, Chippewa was not the 1 seed in their district. They were the 3 seed. They beat the 1 seed Manchester 1-0 to get to this regional semifinal. So Chippewa, the upset victory to get into this regional semifinal. So, not the team that maybe South Range expected to see in the regionals in this round. But, anytime you beat the best team in the district, then you're going to get some respect.
Yeah, no doubt. So it's gonna be interesting to see too. And you got to chalk it up. Is that a good game for them, or is that a sign of things to come? We'll see.
Yeah, and one thing that South Range girls soccer goes as Gabby Lamparty goes. We saw her get the hat trick in their last district championship win. Got the game-winning goal. So they go obviously as she goes. But I said this when we recapped their district championship win. It's not just her though. She does have supporting cast that kind of get lost in the shadows. Devin Sauerwein having a great season. Crank is having a great season. Their goalkeeper, Hannah Ball is having a great season. I was right there. I was like, because I her sister was in school with me, so I was like, I got to remember this last name. So yeah, South Range has a great supporting cast, but obviously they do have a superstar in Gabby Lamparty that will probably be able to navigate how far South Range can go.
Yeah, no doubt. And with a last name like Lamparty, I think everyone knows in the South Range area that with a last name like that, you're meant to be taken seriously. And yeah, you talk about the hat trick the other day that sent them to the victory too. I mean, great job by Gabby Lamparty, continuing what the Lamparty family has done at South Range too, continuing that legacy right on from what Izzy was doing last year too. We know on the basketball court as well. I mean, it's a great family with some great athletes in it, and Gabby Lamparty, of course, doing some impressive things for the Lady Raiders soccer team.
There ain't no party like a Gabby Lamb party, because the
No.
Gabby Lamb party don't stop. That was the catch line for Izzy for basketball, and now we're just gonna plug Gabby in there for soccer.
Yeah, no doubt. And I mean, when you have that type of last name too, and you're doing those kind of things, I mean, you got to.
You got it. So best of luck to the Raiders in the regional semifinals tonight in Marlington. Once again, the only girls team we have left playing in the YSN family, but we have plenty of boys teams. Actually, two that are playing each other. Crestview and Ursuline will be playing each other tomorrow in the regional semifinals. Also, Canfield still alive, and of course, the reigning state champions Howland boys still alive as well.
Yeah, no doubt, and it's going to be interesting to see as on the boys' side of things who's going to come out of these games, because there's a lot of it's starting to get real thick now as far as the competition is concerned. So it's gonna get I wouldn't be surprised if there's a lot of 1-0 games, a lot of games that go into however many overtimes now. It's going to start getting a little.
This is a regional semifinal. We know how big this matchup is, and sometimes it lines up like this, but it's been the team that has been either in Howland's way or the biggest obstacle of Howland winning. It's Bay Village, and that's who they're going to play tomorrow in the regional semifinals. A lot of soccer people, I don't know if Bay Village is on a down year this year or not, but the last several years, soccer people in the area have basically said there's a good chance that a state champion comes out of the matchup between Bay Village and Howland. And this year, it's happening in the regional semifinals. That game will be at Nordonia High School tomorrow at 7.
Yeah, and that's going to be exciting to see, too, as both teams are going to be battling over at Nordonia, too. So go out there and check it out as well.
And so the other matchups on the boys' side, these will all be tomorrow. We all already said Crestview facing off with Ursuline. That'll be at Boardman High School at 6 o'clock. And then you have Canfield squaring off with Revere. That will be at Ravenna, which is right in your backyard.
Yeah, right in my backyard, and I'm sure I'm gonna be hearing a lot of cheering and such from right down this way.
I think Ravenna hosted the district championship game last week too, with Canfield with the Poland girls. Poland girls played at Ravenna, if I'm not mistaken, for a district championship.
Again, yeah, and you know what? This is gonna be it's gonna be interesting too, and
started, I think, if I'm not mistaken.
We'll have to see what comes of it too. Maybe I'll make an appearance down there at Ravenna since it's in my backyard.
Tomorrow at 7. Let's do it.
Yeah,
live report from Ty Bartell from Ravenna.
Yeah, there you go. No, but it should be an interesting matchup too. A lot of these boys teams. I'm curious to see. Crestview versus Ursuline is going to be interesting.
You better go a little early because it takes the eyes some time to get used to that blue field.
It really does. I've been there before one time for a football game. That was
blue field. I mean, this is the picture we have in the studio. JFK playing on that blue field.
It is. It's different. When you first see it too, you're like, whoa. It's unique. It's unique. That's for sure. There's no doubt that it's unique.
It's like the throwback to Boise State a little bit.
Yeah, no doubt. And I mean, it's really honestly that field is. I've seen some other fields too. What's the college that has the all red field? There's
Eastern Washington.
That's it. Yeah, there's the sea of red is what they call it. Or yeah.
Who played there to go to the national championship? That catch by Raider in the back.
I remember OSU playing. Youngstown too. Yeah. YSU. I mean, not OSU. YSU playing there to make it to that national championship a few years ago. That's the only reason I bring it up because you talked blue football field. And I was like. But that brings up an interesting question. Has there been
another college one that has like a gray field? I can't. But when you watch on TV, it looks like you're watching a black and white game because like the whole field is gray.
Who has that one? Is that?
I know you're gonna Google it just so we can.
I am.
Once we bring some news, we cannot leave it.
Is that Eastern Michigan? EMU?
Mm-hmm. I just remember seeing it might be in the MAC. That's the MAC, right? Eastern Michigan with the.
I think so. Yeah.
I think you're right. Yeah,
there's a few too. Yeah, there's a few different color. UCA has a gray and purple alternate field color. So there's
So it's like purple gray.
every 5-yard line, like
Oh,
in between the lines, it's gray, purple. It's like a zebra stripe down the, but it's like it's Sebring colors of like the Sebring purple with mixed in with grays.
I never liked the fields that are like contrastly different orange, different greens, like dark green, light green, dark green.
Oh, you're not a fan of that? You'd rather it just
it looks like I'm playing football on a watermelon.
he wants it straight up regular color.
I want it. I like the ones that are like subtly different that you can see that it's different colors every 5 yards, but it's not like blaringly different. When it's like dark green, light green, that's like too much for me.
Yeah,
my preferences.
That's outside of Ravenna. I can't really think of any high school stadiums that have odd color fields other than Ravenna's blue field. Like there's colleges ones I said there's college ones I could think of that are odd, but I'm trying to think of other Ohio ones that are different.
Can you just imagine a white field with the black lines?
Oh my god!
Like how bad
blinding you as you're looking down at it. There's
call it the salt mine or something like that.
The salt mine, as oh my god!
Like, make it like that scene in Star Wars when you kick up, it's red. The dirt under is red, and the top of the field is white.
Oh my god, that would.
So by the end of the game, it looks, like
terrible.
It looks terrible.
It looks terrible because an all-white football field sounds terrible. Yeah, I can't think of any other ones or even ones that have like an odd pattern or anything. It's just Ravenna that
I'll tell you, Cuyahoga Heights has a weird setup for their field. Have you ever seen their field?
I have not. No.
I got to see because obviously, Valley Christian played there, so I was looking at a overlooking shot at the facility. They have one side stands, and the stands are on like a part of a. It's like the stands are part of the big hill that's in that football field. It's a crazy kind of setup. It's very unique at Cuyahoga Heights.
It sounds unique too. As I mean, I'm trying to think of other. Yeah, I can't think of anything else like any other like odd color fields. Like Ravenna always has stuck out to me since the one time I saw it too, where I wasn't expecting an all blue field.
Correct me if I'm wrong. Ravenna is not like a blue color scheme like Boise State is. They're blue. They're that blue. Ravenna's not like
Ravenna's the Ravens, I know.
Are they that royal blue color scheme?
I don't think. Let me look at their color scheme. I know Ravenna is the Ravens, but I can't remember if. I guess it's. I don't know if it's like that type of blue. I mean, I guess it could be. It's obviously black because it's a Raven. I mean, the Raven's obviously black, but I guess there's kind of shades of that blue mixed in. What if they did an all black football field with white numbering?
No.
You don't like the all black football field?
The red one probably drives the camera crews that have to film those games nuts. Because if you have background in TV and red does not show up on camera very well. So trying to color balance that broadcast
just gonna be
Eastern Washington.
Black is just gonna look like silhouettes running
right
football field. It's just gonna look like someone just caught them out of Microsoft Photoshop and just zoomed them across.
Make a field that looks super pixelated, so it looks like you're playing on like a 1994 version of Madden.
Oh my god! Honestly, though, I mean, this is gonna be fun though.
We are way off track. We started this by breaking down the soccer matchups tomorrow.
And then we're talking about football, and I don't know. It just makes me excited though for football playoffs. So,
oh man, by the way, let's just backtrack since we just got off track and just remind people of the boys' soccer matchups tomorrow night. Crestview versus Ursuline will be playing at Boardman High School at 6:00. Howland will be playing Bay Village, which if you're a soccer fan, that's going to be an amazing match, by the way. That will be at Nordonia at 7:00. And then what got us off the track, Canfield will be playing Revere at Ravenna.
Yep, and we'll be excited for that one too to see what both teams are able to bring.
So we have a chance of 3 teams getting to the regional finals. We're guaranteed one because Crestview is playing Ursuline.
Yeah, and that's gonna be fun. Like I said, that Crestview Ursuline matchup's gonna be one I'm gonna be looking at.
This is an Ursuline team that is in this spot for the first time since the year 2000. They won that district championship in double overtime over South Range. First district championship for that program in 21 years. So they are in a new spot. It's going to be interesting to see how they handle the lights. Not literally the lights, but the stage.
Yeah, no doubt it. I mean, that's always going to be interesting too for teams that are finally back in the show again.
It's crazy, but I feel like even if you haven't been there before or in a long time, if you're at Ursuline, the stage will never be too big because like every time you play a game, the other team is playing you as if you're a powerhouse, even if you're not, because you have that Ursuline on your chest.
Yeah, and
I feel like even if you haven't been there in a while, you kind of have this kind of experience where you've been in big games because you're everyone else's big game anyway.
You do, but some will even say that's added pressure too, because you have a tradition to uphold and you have a history and a legacy of teams to uphold.
Wouldn't you think that that would be an advantage going through all that, not being over pressured by we're in the regional semifinals because we've already been trying to uphold this tradition and that we already get everyone's best shot anyway.
I feel like at that point though, everyone still needs to perform for the best of themselves. And I think if coach is doing anything, he's not too concerned on what other teams have done in years prior. You got to be concerned on this team winning right here, right now. And I do think you're right too. I mean, just having the history and everything, other teams are going to look at this school and look at Ursuline and say, okay, this is a big game. But for Ursuline, and it kind of goes back to when you're winning and when you have that history, we talked with coach the other day, every game becomes a big game then for Ursuline. And all that pressure now is stacked because you have to uphold this tradition. But I don't know if I would necessarily consider it as much of an advantage as much as it is just added pressure for each game, each season. So I think in this one, it's going to be interesting because it kind of negates each other. One being that it's the tradition and the history of Ursuline that all these young men are going to be upholding, and they're going to be doing a great job. And it's the other side of not being there in a while too that you got to worry about a little bit. Okay, it's our first time at the big dance again. This is different, and any coach will say playoffs are different than regular season. So it's going to be an interesting matchup. That's all I'm going to say. Crestview, not a pushover team at all either. So this is going to be
that they beat Mooney, who was last year's state runner-up. So
and they would love to add another parochial school to their column of taking down on their way to the championships.
We're excited for seeing how our girls and boys soccer teams will do in the next 2 days. We're also excited to talk to Ryan Snyder, who now joins us after getting the glitch gremlins out of the way. And we will preview Lisbon girls basketball at last.
Coach, my first question for you was last year too. Despite the record, I think you guys were very competitive, despite having all kinds of younger players and getting a lot of younger players valuable experience. Going into this season, who are some of those players you expect to be big proponents of your team, as well as some of those players we might not be talking about right now, but you expect to get some significant playing time down the stretch?
You're right. You're 100% right. We were really young last year. Even our juniors that were our leaders on our team were still young in varsity experience. We lost the year before, Izzy Perez and Maddie Liberati, who are both great players and two of the best to go through Lisbon. So we did get a lot of experience last year. Moving on to this year, I expect our three seniors to really step up: Parker Henthorne, Tabby Ketchum, and Madison Hafley. And then we've got a lot of sophomores. We only have one junior in the program, but we have a lot of sophomores that are coming up through that are really going to help the program. A lot of them played last year and got varsity experience throughout the year last year, which was huge for us. But we've got Cami Freeland that's going to come up, Serenity Stacy, Morgan Lively. And then we've got a couple extra coming off the bench that'll be Brooklyn Cousins and Hannah Weems. And they'll all have great potential. And it'll be fun to watch them develop throughout the year. It's already been fun to watch them develop from their freshman to sophomore year.
Before we had you on, one of the names that we brought up was Parker Henthorne, and the size she brings to you guys, the physicality she brings for your team, defensive skill. We'll talk a little bit more about her and how important she's going to be for this program's success this year as a senior.
Yeah, and last year, Parker and I, we talked a lot, and she didn't struggle to score. She struggled to get the scoring mindset because the year before she had Izzy and Maddie, who it was the whole offense was developed around them. So it was tough to get her out of the, hey, let's look for them and turn into a scorer. And towards the end of the season last year, and then over the summer, it was a whole different Parker Henthorne. And just the first week and a half practice here, it's nice because she is looking to score every time she touches the ball now, which is a completely different and huge. That's going to be a huge help for us. And then defensively, she's a great communicator. And that's, you guys know how important communicating is on the defensive end. You have to talk. Everybody has to talk and communicate to be successful. And she brings that. And then she brings us extra energy that we need. It's almost the rah-rah person because she gets excited, and that excitement turns into excitement for the other players, and it just becomes contagious all the way down through the line.
Talking about those younger players now, Coach, I've talked with various coaches that will say, too, that freshman to sophomore year, you see almost the biggest amount of growth typically from basketball players. So looking at these freshmen and all the summer work and all the work they put in the offseason, where are some areas of growth that you've seen from the freshmen coming into their sophomore years now?
Just looking at them, you can see the growth physically, where they get those broader shoulders, and that's physical growth is huge. But on the floor, just the mind maturity and understanding the game of basketball, I was able to call out a couple offensive plays, out of bounds plays, and baseline out of bounds plays that last year took us 2 weeks to get down. And this week I called it the one play that we haven't ran since summer, just randomly. And all the sophomores were right on it, ran it through almost perfectly. So that's huge. And then just doing the little things, the boxing out every time, the following your shot, the getting in help side defense. It's just the more playing experience you get. But offensively is where you really see a lot of growth with them, where they're not passive. They start to realize that, hey, I can actually get by people. I can go score at will whenever I want to go score. And there's a couple of them where there's some high expectations with that this year, where we're going to rely on them for points. We're going to rely on them to look for those open lanes all the time.
Coach, me and Ty already talked a little bit about the EOAC and the young teams that are in it, the talented teams that are in it. Talk a little bit more about this league and the schedule that you have put together and how it's going to challenge you guys.
The EOAC, I think it's united at the top for sure. They bring back a ton, and they're going to be strong from top to bottom. I mean, they're just so long defensively. If you watch them play defense, they're all over the place, and those gaps that you should have, sometimes they just are able to read those passes really well. But I think United's going to be really tough. After that, Columbiana, Latonia. You've got the Throats girl down at Southern, and she's got some pieces around her that are going to help. And I think we're right in that mix of right there below United. I think that's really good. Our out of league schedule, we actually changed it already. We were Heartland. We had to drop one of their games. They were rescheduled, so we picked up Western Reserve for them instead of the second Heartland game. So that's going to be a good test for us. We have Malvern. We open up the season with. We picked up Beaver Local this year. They're new on our schedule, so we've dropped a couple games, and we still have filled them in with some strong teams coming into us.
Speaking of that schedule, speaking of all those games and a lot of exciting ones, what is the selling pitch for the most exciting thing about this Lisbon girls team as to why people should come out and watch them this year? What's going to be the most exciting thing about them?
Hey, we're going up tempo, a lot more up tempo than we were last year. We want to play 8-9 girls, and we've got 8-9 girls that can play basketball. And we want to get out, run. Last year we played a lot of zone, just sat in a 2-3 zone, and it was painful to watch sometimes just because it was slow but it was out of necessity last year that we had to sit in zone because we had no man-to-man principles that would keep us in any games. So we're hoping that this year we can get a lot more up-in-your-face defense, a lot more trapping, a lot more running, get the ball out and fly.
Coach, before we let you go, I do want to give you the time to kind of highlight your staff and the people that help you build this program. Who are on your staff this year, and who's helping you out?
Coach Meek is our JV coach. She was actually the point guard for our 1989 state Final Four team. So anytime you can get somebody that's been to state, been in the situations that they've been at, and have that voice in your locker room, have that voice on the court, it brings instant credibility to your staff. And it is amazing that how many things that she sees, especially for our point guards, where she sees things that I wouldn't even think about it. And sometimes just little things of, hey, step here instead of step here on a pivot, and it makes a world of difference. But she came in, and I mean, she's amazing with the girls, and brings out that fun atmosphere, but still holds the girls accountable, and just knows all kinds of things about basketball. She was a huge pickup for our staff. And then we have Coach Entrican, who was our coach before. He actually coached me in high school, and then him and I coached together for 10 or 12 years together. We've been together. So when he retired, and he retired because of his job, he took over a manager spot in his job. So it was just a flip-flop on the bench of who was standing and who's sitting. So when you bring a coach that's been in state, and then you bring Coach Entrican, who's had over 200 wins at the varsity level, I mean, that's a really great staff. I mean, I couldn't ask for a better group of people on staff with me.
Coach, thank you so much for taking the time to join us. We're glad that we got past a little glitch gremlins to try to give us trouble. We appreciate the preview of Lisbon girls basketball. We wish you the best of luck, and we know that as the season goes along, we'll talk to you again real soon.
Hey, perfect. Thank you. Anytime you guys need me, thank you very much for having me.
No problem, Coach. Thank
Go
you.
Blue Devils.
Go Blue Devils is right, as I think
Blue Devils.
Kelly will agree with that quite well, right?
As long as we emphasize McDonald Blue Devils, I think Coach Francis Shelley will be happy with that.
Coach Francis Shelley, coach of the McDonald Blue Devils. Coach, how are we doing today?
I'm doing good, guys. How are you guys?
We're doing great. As I think if anybody watched anything of boys basketball last year, they know that the McDonald boys basketball team was the real deal. And I think it was a rainstorm every time McDonald came into town. Talking about the team, we know some big key losses that you guys had. Jacob Portalese is obviously one of the greater talents that's going to be gone. But talking about the team you're going to have this year, who are going to be some of those big playmakers that you're going to be putting a lot of the game's shoulders on? And who are some of those younger guys that you're expecting to step up this year?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, losing those guys was a key part. You know, we lost 7 seniors. So one thing about it is our guys are working hard and ready to go here. We'll rely on 2 seniors to be our leaders, in Matthew and Michael Porter, twins. And, you know, they work extremely hard. And we'll rely on Michael to hopefully put the ball in the hoop for us a lot here. And then a junior, Greg Constantino, he can really shoot it, man. He can light it up. So it's going to be a different group of guys here. And then we're going to rely on a sophomore, Wyatt Wolford. His sister, Lucy, plays on the girls' side, a senior, to run the show for us a little bit here as the point guard. So, and then we got a bunch of other guys we got a senior, Carson Schrader, that came back out his first time playing. And then some other juniors that are going to fill in and sophomores. And, you know, it's back to my staff and I get to really coach this group up and see where we're going to be come end of February, March here.
Man, what an exciting year it was for McDonald basketball as a whole last year. You know, we all know the success of the girls program, the success of your program. What was it like to kind of go through that? And now you got time to reflect after the season was over and you got to look at some of the film. What was it like to go through that? And now how do you kind of build off of that season to succeed again this year?
Yeah, you know, our thing that we rode last year and we'll ride this year is we're just trying to continue that tradition of McDonald basketball that Coach Brazil and the coaches before him have instilled in this program. And, you know, that run last year was, you know, we started the year 18-0 and the girls were rolling, and just being with Coach Matisse and them and making that trip to state. And me and my family and we went down and support them. And it's just it's a special community to be in. And I tell our guys all the time, every day, you know, we're learning and getting better, but we expect these guys to compete every night and win. There are no different expectations going forward here.
How excited are you for not only yourself, but the boys as well, to have that McDonald community back in full force this year in support of the team?
Oh, man, we can't wait. We can't wait, honestly, to have that student section back, the Stu crew, and all our fans back in the stands. And it's a special place, and a throwback gym, you know, kind of small. We got the area up top where people stand. It's a great place for us to take advantage of. And when it's packed in there, man, it's special. It really is. And to be able to lead a community and program like McDonald, it's a dream come true for us. So we're excited to get going here, and every day is a battle for us.
Obviously, that MVAC is going to have a big target on your back. Every team's going to treat you guys as their big game of the season. Talk about this league, what kind of things you expect from it, and the rest of your schedule as well.
Yeah, absolutely. The league is Springfield and Louisville are going to be really good. They return a lot of guys. Coach Brink came back, take over for Coach French, and that's going to continue there. Coach Olson at Louisville, they're talented, super talented. I think the rest of the league is pretty even there. I mean, I don't know who jumps out at you as far as, but I also think any night anybody could beat anybody. So we've told our guys every single night for us is going to be a grind. We open up on the 30th at home with Lordstown, and we got Girard on the schedule. We play in the Mohawk tournament, 10th and 11th with Union and Mohawk. I'm trying to think who else we got here. Lakeview, Struthers. I mean, our schedule's not easy. I mean, we end the year going to Struthers again. I got history there. I teach, as you see the Wildcat in the back. It's where I teach. So, and they're going to be great again. And Coach Wernicke, the job they do is unbelievable. So for us to have the opportunity to go back there and play right before the tournament, who knows what they're doing tournament-wise? I haven't heard much. If we're going back to that site or if it's going to be home again, whatever. But, yeah, it's going to be challenging. But with that said, I know you guys were talking to Coach Snyder there at the end about his staff. I mean, I'm putting up our staff with pretty much anyone. We lost Paulo de Pasquale, our JV coach, to Camel. We got a teaching job there. He's on with Coach Canarino. But we had the opportunity to bring Coach Ryan Fitch, head coach at Lakeview for a while. So he came on, got to keep Tyler Spencer and him. Tyler was a coach at JFK and Niles for a long time. Those are my two varsity guys. And then Andrew Carbon, a guy that played for me at Struthers and played at Mount Union, he's joining, going to be our JV/freshman. So we think we'll be prepared every night.
Looking at what the team's kind of tempo was on offense, it was very much on quick hits and a quick hit. Do we expect similar styles of offense this year? What is going to be the offensive style of the team look like this year?
Well, I mean, I think that's still our goal, Tyler, is to play that way. We always stress we either want to lay up or a three. Are we going to shoot the three as good as we did last year? I mean, I highly doubt it. Are we ever going to shoot it that good again? I'm not sure. We're third, last year's team, we're third in the history books for a season of three-pointers in the state of Ohio. So I don't know if we can – I tell our guys all the time, don't compare yourself to last year's team. We need our own identity. But, yeah, we're going to try to play that up-tempo, and we're going to try to press you and make you go for 32 minutes against us.
With that style of basketball, take us through a typical McDonald's boys basketball practice.
We really stress we get in shape quick. We go up and down a lot. And, one of the things we've had to do more with this group than we have in the past is we've had to throw in a lot of skill work in between our pressing and our offensive review and stuff like that. But I'll be honest, for an hour and a half of the 2 hours of practice, we're going full go. I mean, we're pressing, we're working on the little things and getting better. And honestly, it's only been 4 days. I think we've gone Friday, Saturday, Monday, 3 days. Each day we've gotten better, and that's our goal. Last year we had a goal of 1-0 every game we played, win that game. I told our guys the other day, our goal is 1-0 every day. We got to win every practice and get better. Leave that gym saying we got better today.
What excites you most about the season, this upcoming season?
Just being back in the gym and I had my family and I, we had a pretty rough summer here. So getting back and being with these guys and being a part of our staff and just getting to spend time with people that, have meant so much to us and that kind of thing. That's what I'm most excited about. And getting back to coaching and everyday grind with these guys and seeing how much better we can get. I'm really excited for that. And listen, I truly cherish my staff from 7th to 12th and love being around those guys, and we have such a great relationship.
I don't think anyone really truly respects how much time coaches put into their craft, and you've obviously been doing it for a while. And it takes a passion for the coaching and a passion for the sport. What's your favorite thing about coaching, especially at this high school level?
Oh man, there's nothing better than a Tuesday and Friday night home packed gym. I mean, those are the things that you get excited for the kids. When we get that Springfield in on a Friday night or Louisville, and the gym's packed and that atmosphere. I still get. This is my 18th year coaching high school basketball, and I'm 37 years old. So it's been every time that happens, that Tuesday, Friday night, still get those jitters, and you lose a little sleep the night before. But one of the other things I really love is the everyday thing about it, the grind of watching film and breaking down and preparing for other teams and making our guys, giving them the best chance that night.
Coach, my final question for you, and you talk about your coaching career starting at a very young age. What is the biggest thing you've learned about yourself as a coach in that span?
One of the biggest things in that stretch is adjusting your style and your, I feel like I've always been a player's coach, and that kind of thing. I give my guys pretty free reign out there most of the time, as long as you're adhering to what our plan is. But over that time, I've just learned to grow as a coach, and I really lean on my coaching staff for a lot. That's one thing early on in my career. I think I tried to put so much on my shoulders and do it all. But when you have great guys around you, you don't need to do that. And when you have this community, I mean, McDonald is a special place. So when you have this community, administration, everybody is behind you. It makes it so much easier. It really does.
Coach, before we let you go, I don't think you need much of a selling point for your fans to get out to the gym. But just in case there's that one person watching that's on the fence on coming to McDonald basketball, give them a selling pitch.
I mean, you're going to get to see some up and down action for 32 minutes. There's no doubt about that. And the style we play is fun. And if one thing we're going to do every night is our guys are going to leave it out there. They really are. Win or lose, we're going to put it out there and put it all on the line. So looking forward to seeing you guys too soon here.
Oh, we'll be there. We'll be there for sure. So thank you so much for taking the time to join us today. It was great to hear from you. Great to get a little bit of a preview of McDonald's boys basketball. Good luck this season. And as the season goes on, we'll be talking to you again real soon.
I appreciate you guys so much. Thanks, guys.
Thanks, Coach.
That was James Francis Shelley, the head coach of the McDonald boys basketball program. And like I said, not too many people aren't going to be excited about McDonald basketball this year. So if you need a selling point, he gave you it, but I don't think too many people need one.
Yeah, the style they play is absolutely fun and exciting, and like he said, and I like that the point of we're not going to try to be last year's team. You need your own identity, and I think that's the right style you got to kind of coach to, because that last year's team was special, no doubt about it. Every time we saw them, and I got the privilege to see them a handful of times, and every time I saw them, they were so fun to cover. And I mean, you saw what that group of seniors was able to do, and it was special, especially from 3-point range. It felt like every single shot they took was going to go in. I mean, it was Golden State Warriors-esque of high school basketball. I mean, is essentially the quick hit threes.
It's a good thing he doesn't expect this team to be last year's team, because I think it's impossible to be last.
I mean, it could. I mean, you know what? And if that's the driving point to be as good or better for some of these kids, hey, have at it. And some of these kids are good shooters from what he said too. And I think they're going to be a fun, exciting brand of basketball. Like we said, McDonald doesn't rebuild, they reload. So they should be fine.
But reminder that their style kind of lends itself to getting people wide open for shots.
Oh,
so
absolutely.
Good shooters are going to have plenty of opportunities to put shots in the hoop too.
He has a great offensive game plan too, and the tempo they play and the style they play with the quick hit threes is phenomenal too. And just when they're able to run those out of their playbook, it's incredible too, to get guys open using screens and various screens. It's off-ball screens too to get guys open. I mean, it's a lot of movement, like he said, and it's up and down action, and that's what McDonald will always do. It's constant movement, so it enables itself to get open shots and open looks.
Plus, a lot of their offense comes from turnovers on their defense that they force.
They hustle on defense, and they're in your face.
layup or three, and a lot of those layups come from fast break turnovers.
They will press almost a full court press every single time, man to man on defense, and expect that a lot too from McDonald. They're in your face defensively. Sometimes they'll sit back in a zone, but I rarely see them sit in a zone. It's usually man to man, and it's usually a full court press. I see McDonald play.
And what I love about their press is they kind of switch it up every now and then. They'll run different little schemes at you, to different wrinkles of that press, to kind of throw you off and not know exactly what's coming.
Yeah, absolutely. And I mean, it's hard to play that against that style of basketball. You need good ball handlers first off to play against a full court press, because if you don't, you're in trouble.
How many teams do you think are watching that JFK tape from the tournament last year, trying to make some notes and trying to see if there's any kind of formula that JFK kind of found out to how to try to tempo that team?
I mean, honestly, sometimes McDonald, I mean, what you had to depend on was them just having a bad night in correlation with, I mean, you need to be able to get off those screens too. And that's the biggest thing, is if you can deny the screens, it's kind of a big into McDonald's game plan, because it's big into off-ball screens to create movement and create space for their shooters.
Perfect. So one of their game-winning threes, exactly that. The kid on defense came under the screen instead of over it, and it was a wide open three, and you leave McDonald with an open three, you're in trouble.
Exactly. And I mean, that's the perfect thing, is that the shooters know too. And I mean, you can go with the screen, you can deny the screen. They set timed screens too, and delayed screens. And I mean, it's a lot of movement, like Coach Franciscelli said, to create open shots. And they do a great job of creating open looks. It's just up to the kids to make them.
I tell you, their matchups with Springfield were really fun last year. I think they'll be really fun again this year. So if you're going to circle one game to get to for McDonald, you better get to it when the Tigers come to town.
Yeah, no doubt. It should be a fun matchup.
Absolutely. We are excited for basketball, as you can tell. So many coaches lined up for the rest of the show, for the rest of the week. But for now, we're going to take our first break of the day. We'll be back with more Running Point on YSN Live, brought to you by Greenwood Chevrolet in Austintown.
New things happen all day. Some are good, some not so good. In today's complicated world, while you're busy working, playing, and living life, we're busy helping you make sense of the day's news. And there's only one place where it comes together with clarity, context, and accountability. It's 21 News at 6 with me, Madison Tromler, and Derek Steyer.
21 News at 6. It's what the day's news really means to you.
Welcome home to a home made homier with Baird Brothers Fine Hardwoods. Inspiration starts at BairdBrothers.com and is turned into reality when high-quality hardwoods are delivered right to your home. Baird Brothers has the latest design trends: shiplap and skinny lap interior siding, antique oak rustic flooring, and, well, you'll find them all at BairdBrothers.com. Ordered easily, delivered conveniently, enjoyed comfortably. BairdBrothers.com.
At Greenwood Chevrolet, shop with confidence, knowing we're ready to go the extra mile for you. With the largest selection of used vehicles in the Valley, backed by the Greenwood Advantage Warranty. Every one of our vehicles has undergone our own 126-point inspection, so it passes the most important inspection, yours. No other dealership has the extra inventory, gives you extra for your trade, and goes the extra mile for you. Only at Greenwood Chevrolet.
WRS Wealth Advisors, the area's premier wealth and retirement specialists. Located on South Avenue in Boardman.
Quality, customer service, and integrity. Those are the four words that have driven our success since 1957 at Joe Dickey Electric.
Joe Dickey Electric is one Mahoning Valley landmark business that stays current with the requirements of our customers. Family owned and managed, we are an electrical contractor and energy solutions provider. Every member of our team adds to his or her skill set through ongoing training. Residential, commercial, industrial, automotive, and more. We keep ahead of the needs of our customers with a fleet of more than 50 vehicles and 24/7 emergency service, so you're never left in the dark.
When looking for home design inspiration, don't just be inspired, be Baird inspired. Whether new or remodeling, Baird Brothers has the latest trends like shiplap to refresh your home. go from inspiration to installation with our wide selection of in-stock American hardwoods. From the rustic charm of antique oak to the warmth of traditional cherry, Baird Brothers has what you need to make your home inspiring. Baird Brothers, our family's heritage, your family's home.
For a great vehicle and a great experience, come to Boardman Mitsubishi today. As always, our full lineup of Mitsubishi models comes with a standard 10-year, 100,000-mile powertrain warranty. Boardman Mitsubishi, your hometown Mitsubishi dealer since 1999.
Coca's Pizza, always supporting our community and our local athletes. Stop in on game day or score big and have it delivered right to your door. Check out our daily specials at cocaspizza.com. That's Coca's Pizza, we serve it hot.
At Hubbard Chevrolet, Hubbard can help you get the financing you need, regardless of your situation. I'm Tony Page, and I've helped thousands of customers in Northeast Ohio and Western Pennsylvania buy a vehicle. Visit HubbardChevy.com to get pre-approved. Remember, folks, Hubbard can help.
You're not waiting to see what the world has in store for you. It's more about what you have in store for the world. All you need is the opportunity. All you need are the resources of a large university and the advantages of a personalized academic setting, where you can experience new worlds in the arts and sciences, business, and education, and make them your own. We are where you shape your future. We are Youngstown State University, and proud.
Welcome back to Running Point on ysnlive.com, brought to you by Greenwood Chevrolet in Austintown. Anthony Hartwig alongside Ty Bartell as we welcome in another coach to the Running Point basketball previews. We're joined by the head coach over at Heartland for the boys program, Josh Scott, as we're going to bring him in real quick right now. Coach, thank you so much for taking the time to join us.
Yeah, thanks for having me. I'm really excited.
Coach, my first question, as we like to start off with all the coaches, looking at your team this year and what you got for coming over from last year, who are going to be some of the big playmakers that you're going to be looking for on this offense and defense, as well as some of the younger players that you expect to get some significant playing time this year?
Sure. So we had graduated 6 seniors last year, and you know, a couple of those guys being starters. So we have some holes to fill, but we have some returning guys. Jonathan Berdovich is our senior point guard starter. You know, has the potential to get 2,000 points in his career this year, just can really score it. And then we bring back Stephen Barnes and Nate Garzanich, both senior returning starters as well. And then we kind of mix it in with, we have 6 seniors again this year. Sam Osborne, Joel Morgan, and John Morris round out the rest of the seniors this year that are going to be looking for a lot of varsity playing time. We bring back 2 juniors. Luke Reynolds, who was basically our 6th man last year, is looking to play a big role. Drew Walker is another junior. And then we have several sophomores that are kind of looking to step up as well.
You know, Coach, what's something that is, you know, so special about coaching in Heartland? You know, when you think about the program, you're always touted as a really small school and sometimes not respected the way you guys should be. And it feels like every time you go into the gym, whether it be basketball, whatever sport it is, you guys have this little chip on your shoulder of you know, wanting to prove people wrong. What's so special about being able to coach at this place and coach these boys?
Yeah, so I just actually talked to our athletic director, Susie Shields, a little bit ago, and I was asking her about the total number of boys that we have in our high school, 9 through 12, and it's actually only 43 boys. We have 26 out for basketball this year. So I think that they take a lot of pride in the sport, and I feel like you know, it's such a family atmosphere there that you know, they're all looking out for each other and they all want what's best for the school and the team. So you know, that's kind of makes it special. And honestly, it's just the family atmosphere more than anything that, you know, we're all in that together. And, you know, even my wife said the other day, you would think that there wouldn't be that community feel just because we kind of come from all over as far as the boys go. But it's absolutely there.
Coach, looking at this team too, obviously successful last year, composed a 17-5 record. I mean, it was a team that averaged over 15 assists, 60 points a game. Do we expect the same style of offense, or what is the style of this offense going to be? Do we expect a lot of passing and a lot of movement of the ball this year?
Yeah. You know what? We actually are intending to be even faster. Our goal is to play with a lot of pace this year. Just because when you lose guys like Joey D'Onofrio and Stephen Baker and even Noah Pennington, Caleb Graft, Aaron Galt, Devin Srota, those guys a lot of them were big, strong, athletic guys that, we were able to do a lot of focus on rebounding and putbacks and, that kind of thing, that aspect of the game. And now we bring in guys that are athletic and have speed, but not necessarily the size. So we need to focus on playing fast and playing with a lot of pace. So we're hoping to do a lot of scoring this year. That's our goal. So
you brought up John Berdovich a little bit earlier, and just a little bit more about him. He's about to, he could have the chance to score 2,000 points this year. Not every day you get someone like that in your gym. What's it like to be able to have that kind of player and be able to have that kind of leader? He's more than his talent. He's a good leader as well.
Yeah. From day one, he came in and led by example. I mean, he's the kid that you just got to kick out of the gym. I mean, you have to kick him out of the gym. He wants to constantly be working on his game, constantly getting shots up. And that's the kind of leader that you want. He's soft spoken, but he works really hard. He's constantly working on his game. And, that's really what has stuck out about him is just, he's honestly, and it's not coach speak. He's the hardest working kid I've ever been around, bar none.
I'd like to give every coach the opportunity to give a selling pitch on what is going to be the most exciting thing about this Heartland Christian boys basketball team and why we should get out to some games this year.
I just think that you're going to see a team that works really hard. I think that the kids are excited and we don't want to be a one-hit wonder. We don't want to be like, oh, last year was just, this rare year. We feel like we're trying to build a program here, and we feel like, the kids are working so hard. They're working on being able to shoot the ball and having 5 guys that can handle the ball on the floor and have skill out on the floor. And that's something anybody likes to see, is going out there and seeing guys that can handle it, that can shoot it, and taking care of the basketball. So that's something that, we're hoping to show off this year. That's our goal. Every day we want to go out there and compete and always have a chance to win, but, go out there doing it, being the hardest working team on the floor.
This year you get to have fans back in the crowds, and you get to have the community come out and support you again. In that gym, it's small, it's compact, it's unique, it gets loud in a hurry. Talk about what kind of home court advantage you're expecting and how nice it's going to be to have that energy back in the gym.
Yeah, you know what? It was almost it felt that way last year. I mean, even with the social distancing and the spacing and everything that we had to have, we packed it to capacity that we were allowed to do, and it got loud, and we expect it to be, double that. That's our hope. And people would tell me you have a home court advantage because of your court, and I never believed that. But as the season went on, it kind of felt like, we do have a really unique situation in having one of the older floors that has that character and charisma, and we certainly love playing at home. And I feel like it's going to be pretty electric there. That's certainly the hope.
Looking at this team and what the younger players were able to do over the course of the summer and the off season, what is the one thing you are looking and hoping to have improved from last season to this year to become even better as a basketball team?
Yeah. So, you know what, we talked about our summer, and I feel like we had a really, really good summer. I mean, our attendance and our dedication, we went all the way, we can't go in August. It's a no contact time, but we went to July 28th. I had a dozen kids in the high school at 6:30 in the morning in the gym shooting and working on their game, because that's the time it was available. I've got small kids. I can't go later in the summer, and volleyball needed to get in the gym. So they took it upon themselves to get in the gym and work on that. So I'm kind of hoping for some consistency, and especially with our shooting and our skills, I'm hoping that that's what's going to translate. We always tell the coaches when everybody asks, how'd your summer go? went on. And, I don't know. Does it always translate? Probably not. Great summer, does that guarantee a great season? I don't know. But all I know is that we probably worked harder than any other team I've ever had this summer. And I can say that in all honesty, that we just because of how dedicated we were with our numbers and everything that we did. And, getting back to a normal summer is certainly, I hope, going to help a little bit too, being able to actually go out and do some camps and such. So,
these next couple of weeks as you get ready for the season, you'll probably never have this kind of practice time again, consecutive practice times for a couple of weeks. What are the goals for this next couple of weeks getting ready for the season, and what kind of things do you want to see in your practices from your team?
Yeah, again, I want to make sure that we have just at least some of the basics all down to where, I've tried to make sure that we get the basics down and kind of, we call it dummy down, but not in that way, but just get it to where we really are really good at just a few things, and then try to add as we go, especially with having so much inexperience coming in from the varsity level, from the JV level guys that were playing, a lot of JV minutes last year. We want to make sure they feel really good about doing a small amount of things out on the floor, and then add on as we get into the season.
Talking about culture too, and I mean, when you have a winning season and winning seasons and success, it obviously helps in building that culture. But if we were to ask any of your boys what it means to be a Lion, what would you hope their response would be?
Man, that's a great question. I would hope that it would just be some form of pride. It would just mean that it's part of being about something bigger than themselves. We talk about that a lot, that, I'm not bigger than the program. There's no player that's bigger than the program. That's something. And actually, ironically enough, you're talking about culture. I was just, again, talking to our athletic director today about how proud I am of, when we came in, we've always had really good kids, but you can notice in practice, I think, and even in open gyms, there's no balls laying around. Everything's put away. The bottles are gone, and things are getting, cleaned up and put away. And to me, that's part of culture too. It's not just how you play or style or offense or defense. You could tell the kids have bought into everything that we're trying to sell. And that's the part that makes me the most proud of those guys right now.
I love that you said pride. It doesn't fit anyone more than it fits the Lions. I'll tell you that much.
That's right.
I want to give you the chance to highlight your coaching staff and the people that kind of help you build this program, and who you got this year helping you along.
Sure. So my dad is my varsity assistant. He has been since we started. This is back in 2000, the 08-09 year is when we first started as varsity coaches. So he'll be back, and I've been trying real hard to get him to be the assistant coach of the year through the state. It's always a tough battle. There's a lot of really good ones all throughout the state, but he's one of the guys. Was part of West Branch's the girls' state championship team. He's got a ton of experience. He's a great person. And then adding this year new is Josh Zamunda, who was actually our senior, or one of our really good point guards from Sebring when we were with the boys there. He has come on, and a lot of the things that we're doing right now are still similar. So he's been able to transition really well into the JV role and helping with the younger guys. And then Scott Libb is our freshman coach, who's been around. He was with the West Branch girls program. He was with United for some years, and has a ton of experience and really great with fundamentals. So he's really working with our freshmen right now, and has been the last 2 years. So really excited about our staff. For the high school level, it's really it's been really a joy because they're all really good.
A follow up to that real quick. Not too many coaches get the opportunity to kind of coach with their father. What's that dynamic like, and how much do you kind of treasure those moments that you get with him? Talking about the game or talking about practice or whatever it may be.
Yeah, it is absolutely special. And as the years have gone on, I've kind of learned to make sure and cherish that like every single day, not just looking back and saying, oh, how cool was that? But, now that I've got kids of my own and I know what it feels like to be a father, it is absolutely special. And I think the kids really feed off of that too. And we can really push that family atmosphere because it's what it is. And just there's times where it's great because we can get right into each other's faces and talk back and forth, and I don't agree with this or I agree with that, and but know that it's all out of a place of love, and it never carries over. It's always about what's best for our team, and that's what's really a really cool dynamic for us.
And my final question for you, Coach, looking at your team, and you talk about that culture and what you're trying to instill, what are some things outside of the sport of basketball that you try to teach all of your boys?
Just how to be a man. I mean, and how to grow up and take responsibility for your actions. And the other thing that we really push for is to be a good communicator. They learned that yesterday. I was kind of in everybody's shorts a little bit because we weren't very good with communication. And I think that is such a key aspect of life, is to be able to communicate. So we really push for that too. But, they already have so many great core values being in a Christian school. And that's just the truth. I mean, these kids are such a high caliber type of kid that we get to work with every single day. Our job is just to make sure that, we can put our little touch on anything that we can help with too. So we really push for communication and just working through that, a lot of transparency.
Coach, thank you so much for taking the time to join us today and giving us a little preview of the season. We look forward to covering you guys all year. We wish you the best of luck, and we know as the season goes along, we'll talk to you again real soon.
I really appreciate it. We love you guys over there. It's we're YSN proud over at Heartland. So thank you guys very much.
We love hearing it, Coach.
Thanks, guys.
Josh Scott, the head coach of the Heartland boys basketball team, joining us on YSN Live, brought to you by Greenwood Chevrolet in Austintown.
Yeah, and don't worry, Heartland, we got your double barrel action. We'll have Justin Raheem on this week too, so the girls will be covered this week as well. So we'll be talking with both coaches of both the Lady Lions and the Lions coach, Josh Scott. So we got Heartland Christian covered on all fronts this week.
Pride, man. There's nothing, no word goes better with Lions than the pride.
Yeah, and you know what? Heartland Christian, one of those underrated teams too.
Oh yeah,
compiling a 17-5 record, and those losses were close losses too. You talk about a 63-60 loss to that South Range boys program that was a very good team as well last year. I mean, it was one of those teams that, I mean, it's hard to beat South Range in their gym, and going there and coming within 3 points. That's kudos to a program that Heartland's built over there.
Scoring 60 on that John Cullen defense that was holding a lot of teams below 50 last year. That's impressive enough in itself.
Yeah, absolutely. So it was a team 17-5, lost in OT in the playoffs to Matthews, but like you talk about, Berdovich is on the way to 2,000 points. That's special in of itself in a season too. I think Heartland's going to be just as exciting this year, and I don't know if they're necessarily flying under the radar this time.
And they just, as a program, then they just want to take that next step and make a deep tournament run.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think they can, honestly. And I think, Coach Scott is the right, and both Scotts too, both him and his father, I think are the right guys to be in the position to take them there.
I think it's all about exposing themselves to the big competition, which they did a really good job of last year. They continue to do a really good job of. It helps they're independent, but they have to make sure that schedule keeps giving them games where they're going to be constantly exposed to the type of basketball they'll see in the tournament.
Yeah, and I mean, let me go ahead real quick. I want to pull up their schedule and just circle a couple of games to look at real quick for them, because I don't know it by heart, but I'll pull it up real quick for them.
By heart, good call.
Yeah, you know it. So looking at their schedule this year, some games, like he said, they open up with Minerva, United, Latonia, Lowville. That's a Badger, Crestview. JFK. Yeah, so I mean, South Range again, Brookfield, Lordstown. So yeah, there's competition all up and down too, and I mean, don't shy away from it, and that's what you love to see. So Heartland gonna definitely get their fair share of competition.
You know what? They don't have a football program, so they haven't been waiting around. They've been in the gym since they were.
That's what makes it scary too.
Yeah.
You know what? You're talking about just a group of guys that have been waiting and itching for this basketball. They're having basketball fever as well. So you're talking about a group of guys that have been thinking basketball, been having basketball mind for months. You might see Heartland jump out to a big lead or a big stretch in the beginning of the season.
How about that? 40 out of 43 boys in the school, 26 of them are playing basketball.
That's incredible.
That's basketball fever right there, if I've ever seen it.
Absolutely. And you know what? The culture there has to be great too. And you just hope that throughout the younger years too. I mean, that's great that they have you obviously know they have freshmen, sophomores, juniors. So they probably, I mean, you got to expect they have their JV squad too, they said. So they have a JV team and a varsity team though in basketball, despite not having a football team. They got both of those. And you got to figure the basketball guys that they're able to get too. I mean, it's a good crop, it seems like, that's coming through Heartland, and it's exciting times.
More than half of their student body at the boys' side playing basketball. It's
a school that loves it, and you know what? It should be a fun season. I think we'll be watching for the Lions a lot this year.
26 is a big roster. I mean, for Division 4.
Absolutely,
they're going to be a deep bench. They're going to be able to rotate people.
I don't know if they would have a freshman team. I mean, he
said he had a freshman coach. So
did he? Yeah. Okay. So he did. I didn't catch that part. I don't remember if he said that or not. So yeah, they have a freshman, a JV, and a varsity. That's great for the program, and that's depth, and that just shows you that that's a successful program. It wasn't just a one-off successful season last year. This is a successful program because you have a large group of guys that have bought in, and that's incredible.
They might be one of those teams that has the freshman team that also plays on JV, freshmen.
All of them to just get game exposure, though. That's going to help those freshmen throughout the years to be playing seasons like this. So
constant reps for young kids. That's what it dials down to.
Yep, absolutely. So that's how you make a program successful for years instead of just a season.
And it's really impressive because there is a middle school program for Heartland, but they've started to make it exciting to stay in Heartland. We saw in years past, 5 or 10 years ago, they'd have awesome middle school basketball programs, but they'd lose those kids to Columbiana, or they lose them to, Columbiana right down the road, by the way. They lose them to Lisbon or whatever it may be. Now these kids are kind of staying in Heartland and wanting to be a pride. They want to be proud of this program and continue it, and that's what's the biggest difference. They're not losing kids out of their really strong middle school program anymore.
Yeah, no doubt. And I mean, like I said, it should be a fun time and a fun season for the Lions this year. I look forward to it.
Always fun to be in that Purple Palace, and we can't wait to be there on YSN.
Yeah, no doubt. No doubt. I'll have to try to see if I can make a trip down there sometime.
On your list, right? You haven't been there before.
Yep, that's one of the ones I haven't checked off my list, so it's on there.
It's unique. Like he said, it's concrete, so it gets really echoey in there. It can get really loud even with a small crowd, and they usually get big ones. So it's got great acoustics for sports. Probably not great acoustics if you have if you're recording a sound bite, but great acoustics for sports for sure. Bounces off the walls in there. You're elevated off the court, so you're kind of feeling like you're coming down on people when you're screaming at them. And then the court is small. It's got that he called it charisma. I'm sure other coaches have some select words for their court that aren't as courteous, but yeah, it's a definite home court advantage for sure.
Yeah, no doubt. When you have courts like that are just unique, it becomes a home court advantage just because it's unique for teams to play in that type of atmosphere. Just like it's similar to the field house at Struthers too, and just that how historic that is for teams to play.
It's an old school basketball gym that we don't see a lot of that style anymore, where it's almost all on one side. There's a stage on the other side. You have to mix and match with your away and home fans because there's not really one side and another side. It's old school.
That's kind of like how I like Waterloo's too. Waterloo has that stage at the end too, and I love Waterloo's gym because Waterloo's is one of those classic old school gyms. But it's I love it too with the Viking paintings too, the old school paintings. It's a cool court.
Yeah, and let's see. Lisbon is almost one. They have other side stands, but they're really not a lot. There's like 4 rows on the other side behind their benches. It's mostly chair backs on one side of stands. So we're slowly losing those one-sided courts, but we have a couple of them.
Yeah,
I went to one for my high school career. South Range was a mostly one-sided gym. They had a student section on the stage, but those old school one-sided gyms just give me the feels.
You like those ones a lot. That's
maybe because I went to high school in one, but they do. They just kind of give me the feels. They're not as cookie cutter as some of the other gyms that we come across that are kind of new and I like them. I like them.
See, I don't know. I have a trouble agreeing. I went to Fitch, and that was definitely double-sided. And I remember
Fitch is a different animal though, because they're double-sided, but they're also double-tiered.
Yeah, and like getting when you would have
Poland and Fitch are different animals because
well,
they're double-sided, but they're also huge.
Fitch is way bigger, but I'm just saying what's unique about Fitch was just having the screaming matches back and forth between the student sections and the fans, because you shout it over one side and they shout it back. The Boardman and Fitch games, the Harding and Fitch games, you get those shouting matches, and it was fun too.
What was great is when I went to South Range back in that old gym, the other team's student section was forced to kind of sit with the South Range non-student fans. So if they got berated by it, there wasn't like a student section that was separated for that school. They had to sit with, a mixture of South Range fans and whoever the opposing school was, and then South Range students sat on the stage. So, and the other thing about it though that you don't miss is that you had about this much room between the baseline and the wall. So there was no, extra time to stop after you went up.
No, if you go for it, yeah, it's bad.
To the wall.
Yeah, that's not fun at all.
How more people didn't break their legs against that wall, I'll never know. I saw it happen once. Someone came up, they went up for a layup, they got pushed at the last second, their foot went against the wall and their leg just. But how it didn't happen more? It's just pure luck, because there's like literally there's no room. There's no room between the baseline of that gym and the mat on the wall.
That's incredible. That's incredible. And just some of the designs of some of those old school gyms is
the hoops don't fold up, they come right off the wall. That's pretty cool too.
That's wild too, because a lot of them, you see a lot of the ones that fold down.
No fold down hoops at the old South Range gym. No.
That's incredible.
I will say, and once again, I'm nostalgic, so I might be biased, there might be other opinions. I like the South Range mural in the old gym a little bit better than I like the one in the new gym. The old one was killer, man. It was the Raider coming down from the crow's nest, and he was landing on the ship, and the wood was splintering as he landed, and it was just cool. There's nothing wrong with the guy that's swinging from the rope in the new South Range gym. It's a cool thing, but there was just something about that old one that was just really cool. It was more of a part of the gym. It took up the whole wall. It just, I don't know.
I like the one. I like the way Western Reserve does it with the Blue Devils with the cinder blocks that are on it too, where he's coming out of the wall. That's unique. I like how they incorporated like real life pieces. And
I'll make a lot of my South Range people mad, but I still say the best wall mural in the area is Springfield. They have the whole jungle scene up on that stage. It's kind of like Waterloo, where they have a stage on the end of their gym.
I haven't seen Springfield yet.
Up on the stage, they have this whole jungle scene with the tiger kind of on the prowl, and it's got the S. It's got this like smoke coming off the S. It's just it looks sick.
I'll have to check it out now. I'm curious.
On the other side, they still have kind of the old school tiger heads, that have been there for years. But then you look on the other side of the gym, they have this new looking, very well done jungle piece with a tiger coming out of the leaves. So I think, in my opinion, the best mural in the area is that Springfield on the stage. Struthers has a pretty good one. The Wildcat coming out of the wall at you is pretty cool. What about you? What are some of the good ones you've seen?
Like I said, with the Western Reserve one that I remember.
Half one at Fitch. There's no wall mural.
There used to be a Falcon at one point, but it just says Fitch Falcons now. And
it's just that on the one of the pillars, there's like the Falcon with the ungodly big biceps. It's like
I like the mural that they put on the side of the school now, right by the football field, the Falcon. That new one, I think it went in this year. I like that one a lot. That one for Fitch was really cool. I'm trying to think of some of the other murals I saw. Sebrings was pretty cool. I like Sebrings with some of the Trojan murals. Those ones were cool.
I like United because the eagle coming out of the wall, and they have the shadows of the wing. So it's not just the wing out; they have like the shadows on the wall. It's just attention to detail like that gets me.
Yeah. What are some of the other ones too that I've seen? I mean, trying to think of all the schools I went to last year too, and I went to a few. Louisville is kind of.
I haven't been there yet.
Gym. Theirs is a unique gym too. It's kind of old school with the baby blue all over it. I just kind of like the floor look of the Leopards gym.
You know me, I love that baby blue, that powder royal blue.
And I like the stands too. That one's very like old school, and I mean I kind of like the way Louisville's is set up too. Trying to think of some of the other basketball teams that
Howland has a pretty cool tiger. There's just a little thing that I am so nitpicky, but like the way that the arm for the tiger comes, it's kind of coming across his body, and there's not a lot of detail on the bottom, so it looks like it's just a fat paw coming out of his body instead of like an actual arm. So that I get nitpicky. It's a cool tiger. The face is awesome. It's just this arm that didn't have enough separation or detail to kind of dimension it. So it just looks like a big fat body with a paw sticking out of it.
You're not a fan of it, huh? You're not.
It could have been really great. I give it a B- because of the paw.
You're not a fan of the paw. I'll tell you what. If I remember correctly, is it Liberty that has the unique paints? One of them has like a unique paint that has like I think a basketball a part of it. And maybe it's not Liberty. I'm not sure.
Liberty has a pretty cool leopard coming out of the wall.
I know I'm talking about like the paint on the court. Like the paint has I don't know if it was Liberty though. Like the paint itself was very unique. I can't remember what high school I was at that it was.
Has a great court, which I got to see during volleyball.
Marshfield has a unique court too. I can't remember what Liberty's looks like now that I'm trying to think of what it is. I don't know if it was Liberty that I'm thinking of. Liberty did have a cool mural, I remember.
Yeah,
when I went there. Because they have actually like a pretty cool leopard, I remember, like a realistic looking leopard that's coming out of it, and it's pretty cool.
Dragon's cool because you don't get a lot of dragons. So Niles having the dragon coming out of the wall.
Never seen Niles.
I wish its wing was outstretched instead of kind of folded in. When you think of a dragon, you think of a outstretched wing. So I wish they had like a big wing coming out, but it's a really cool red dragon.
Yeah, I need to see if I might have to see if I can make a trip down to Niles sometime. That's one of the schools I have yet to. I have to visit a few of the NE8 schools. I don't know if they'll let me into South Range. I feel like DJ puts locks on those doors over there. South Range. Well, no, he does Salem a lot though too. And
for basketball, he's big in Salem.
Yeah,
actually, it's funny you said that because today he was wearing a Salem hoodie, Salem basketball.
Yeah, he's a Quaker when it comes to basketballs
because he's the only one that's willing to go call games up in that weight room.
I mean, they have things though.
I can't get up there. Like I'm like, oh, that's a long trek up to that weight room, and then I'm like, I can't see anything up here.
What are some other schools that I went to? I'm trying to think of. I've seen Jefferson's gym. Jefferson.
I really like Jackson Milton's Blue Jay too. It's got the big bicep.
Yeah, I've seen Jackson Milton's. Jackson Milton's was cool too. What else?
Hubbard doesn't have a mural per se, but they have the two benches on the ends of the gym that more of a college style that you don't see a lot in high school, where student sections can get right behind the hoop.
Valley Christian, I like their court a lot, and I
haven't been there yet. I actually haven't been to Valley.
You have the pillars and you have the eagle's nest up there for the seniors where they sit, but it's like it's small, like the seating sections are small, but there's like actual seats too. It's real nice.
You've been to United, right?
I've never been at United. That's one I haven't been to yet.
For those who haven't, like the floor level isn't gym level. So you come in on the school and you're looking down on the gym, and you have to go down the bleachers to get to the gym floor. there when I was in high school, I don't know if they still do. I don't think they do because I've been to a basketball game there. It's not there anymore. They used to put a couch on that top right floor, and it was like every game, like a student won the opportunity to kind of use the couch for their student section. That student section got rocking, and I love watching it go. You never see a couch in a high school basketball gym. It was so off-putting, but it was unique. They had their little couch there for the student section, and in every game, it was like I think a student won the opportunity or was in a drawing for the opportunity to sit in that couch. I'm sure the Siglers could give some insight because they were on coaching staffs back then. So I'm sure Josh Sigler, when we have him on, can give us some insight into what went on with that couch in the student section.
Yeah, I know, right? I mean,
it was like the Eagles Nest. It was the same kind of concept. I always thought it'd be cool to have a crow's nest for the Raider games, to have like kind of a crow's nest coming off the wall and have a student section up there.
That's where it was. Lowville has the cool court. Lowville, the Rockets.
They have the blue wings with the basketball in the middle of the key.
That's the one I was thinking of. Lowville was the one with the really cool court. I like the way, and where I got to be positioned for Lowville, it's up in that section where there's there's a cafeteria, I think, or there was tables, I think, on the one side, but I think there's 2 basketball courts. And there's a pillar and a platform in the middle, and that's where you set up and looking down. And it was a cool view too. And I remember I thought the court was really cool looking.
And I like the color. I always love navy blue with gold, which is it's a great color scheme in my opinion. So Lowville is always looking fly.
Yeah, I remember that's what I was thinking of. Lowville was the one with a really, really cool gym floor.
They missed an opportunity to have a really cool mural. I mean, they could have had a really cool rocket launch going up the wall or something.
Yeah, that would have been pretty cool too. I mean, just because or coming out of the school to or coming into the school with the rocket launch, that'd be kind of cool.
Clippers have a really cool plane coming off the wall. I know you're kind of confused on why.
No, I got the Clipper reference now. I got that. I got the plane that was a Clipper.
It's a giant. I think it's a hangar. It's like one of those hangar jets coming out of the wall.
Yeah. I get the name of the plane is a Clipper. Now it was weird at first because when I first saw the plane,
It's a boat plane, right? That's
yeah.
It up. It's a boat plane.
Yeah, it's a plane that can be on the water too. It's like it's a boat. I guess first that's also an aircraft is what it was technically called. I don't know, but yeah, because every other Clipper reference is boats too, and whether it be the Los Angeles Clippers or whatever, the Columbus Clippers too.
Clipper.
Yeah. So the Gateway Clipper in Pittsburgh. So I mean, all of them were boats. So I was just, but no, it is a cool. I do remember seeing I haven't been in the gym, but I have seen pictures and I've seen it on plenty of games for YSN too, because you could see it. It is a very cool mural.
Awesome.
That it is. It's a really cool mural.
Makes you feel like you're actually in a air hangar.
Talking about that now, let's talk about. We want to stay with basketball. Let's talk about some really cool uniforms, and I want to say the Western Reserve Blue Devils with the forks that go down the pants. That is
their girls' team's uniforms.
Yeah, they're clean. I love that uni. That is a cool uni.
Their boys' team was pretty fly last year too, and there was a senior. I want to say it was Papagallo that had like American flag tennis shoes to go along with their red and white and blue uniforms. Talk about feel good, play good. This kid was sharp with it. I mean, he had some of the best kicks I'd seen all season, and they went so well with the color scheme of Western Reserve.
Yeah, no doubt. I really like the Lady Blue Devils, and I really like those shorts with the flames too as the trim and with the pitchforks going down each side. Those were cool shorts too, and that was a cool look for a Western Reserve, and it's a very modern look on it, but I like it. I like the way it looked. It was very cool, very sharp.
I kind of like the Tigers black and orange with the black jerseys.
I got you. Yeah, I think I know what you're talking about.
I'm sorry, South Range. I mean, South Ranges are cool. The boys' jerseys were really cool with the Raiders that kind of fade in. I have the girls' jerseys they wore when I was in high school were really cool too. They were big Raiders across their chest with. I like big numbers because then I can see them real well. So big numbers are cool. If you have a black jersey with blue numbers, you're going to be on the bottom of my list. because those are really hard to see.
Sebring's boys team too that have the Trojan.
I like their gold, their gold with the purple.
The gold with the purple is cool too, but I also like the white too with the shorts on the white ones too, because I mean just giving that Trojan look too. I like the little subtleties in the uniforms too that kind of represent more on what the team is. So I think that was a cool look too for a boys team.
You know what I don't like? We're starting to see a lot in college, the jerseys that have just the logo.
On the thing.
It almost looks like you're wearing practice jerseys when you're out playing a game.
Yeah, that is a little bit odd.
I've seen it a lot. Like it's starting to become a thing. I don't know if it's like the Adidas new the push to make their jerseys have the big logo on the chest. I'm not a fan.
They need to start doing more things with the sides too. I like the jerseys that use the side stripe on the pants and then the jersey as well. Because like Louisville can do a rocket launch from the pants all the way up to the jersey too if they want, and that would be cool. Like there's ways you could do it. It's similar to what the Lady Blue Devils did, and I like that pitchfork going down. I mean, just little subtleties within the uniforms, and you can make them look really cool too.
Could have a sword going all the way up there.
That would be cool too. Like there's little things you could definitely do with each one that would, I think, look really cool.
I'm trying to think
what other iconic uniforms in the area. I'm trying to think of some other ones too. I know like the Lady Rockets gold ones are pretty classic looking too. Wellsville has like the orange.
Salem has really cool girls basketball uniforms, and I know Eric Bailey's gonna be like, yeah, because he's in. Yeah, I think he might be in charge of trying to pick those out. But Salem has some really fly uniforms for girls basketball.
I don't know if I've seen Salem's uniforms yet or not.
And they have white. I think I've seen them wear red, and they have black too. So. They have like alternates.
That should, I don't know. I'll have to check that one out too and see what those ones look like. I think what was the one I remember too that always looked classic. Oh, you know what? Just because of it's honestly more or less I feel like just because I really like the Celtics look, but Ursuline has those uniforms that are very classic to the old Boston Celtics look, and I like Ursuline's uniforms too come basketball season. I really do.
Ursuline brings out a lot of them.
Yeah, that was always a cool look. I can't remember what is Cheney's uniform. Cheney has the red.
The red with the block Cheney,
Yeah, it's similar to Fitch. Fitch is basically
I like Valley Christian boys when they're in their black. That's slick too.
I don't know if I've seen Valley Christian boys uniform or not.
They have some black uniforms that are.
I don't know if I've seen the black one. I've seen. I think I've seen. Is that one of their home ones or is that the away one?
It's their road jerseys.
Yeah, I don't think I've seen them on the road. I've seen them at home, so I've seen I think the whites that they wear, but I don't think I've seen Valley Christian's the black jerseys. I'm trying to think of the other ones too that were cool, but no, there's definitely those classic looking jerseys too. But yeah, the Lady Blue Devils always stick out to me as one of those ones.
Yeah, they look fly. It's funny, like their rivals, McDonald, were more old school, like just color, blue and white, McDonald across the chest, nothing too flashy. Just keep it simple.
Yeah, no doubt. And I mean, some of those schools too, I like, and I can appreciate both the modern and the classic looks too. So it's like, I'm cool with both of the looks too, as long as it looks clean and sharp. I think that's definitely cool. One that I want to mention too, Brookfield has a cool mural in their gym.
They do.
The warrior coming out is cool too with the face paint.
Instead of most schools have the mural on the smaller wall that's behind the hoop.
Yeah.
They elected to go it on the side, so it kind of takes up the whole wall. It's more of a widescreen, cinematic kind of feel. Lisbon has the same thing where they have the Blue Devil on the wide wall, going across the whole thing.
Yeah, I don't recall if I've seen Lisbon's.
Lisbon also has the drop-down American flag, which is awesome. But I've always wondered if it snags or if it gets jammed, you're going to be doing the anthem with like half of an American flag sticking out. And then how do you get it back up into the
One that I've never seen in person, but I know is a cool mural. I like the Latonia Bears mural. I like the bear that's coming up.
We don't even though we don't have what 2 bears on the Ysn family. So bear is actually not something that you see a lot in the area. So
Yeah, and I think their bear is cool too. I mean, it's a cool looking mural too. It's basic, but I mean, I think it's a cool look.
And then I've never been to Champion. I mean, I've been to Champion. I've never been to Newton Falls, so I don't know what their tiger particularly looks like. Jefferson just has their logo on the side of the wall.
Yeah, I've been to Jefferson.
Struthers is cool.
Yeah, I've seen Struthers. I
haven't been to East Liverpool, so I don't know what. I know the Potter Field House is iconic, but as far as murals go, I don't know what they have going on.
Like I said, Canfield has a classic looking court too.
Yeah, they just have they instead of a mural, they just have their big logo.
Yeah, it's a classic feel with the court too.
I love what they do when they're able to turn off the lights for the bleachers and leave the lights on for the court. It gives you kind of a main stage kind of vibe because when they're playing, the lights aren't only on in the court; the lights are off for the lights that are over the stands.
Yeah. I've been to Mineral Ridge, and I don't.
They have a ram puck coming out of the wall.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not bad. It's just kind of.
It's one of those basic ones.
Doesn't stick out.
Where else have I been? I've been to Cheney.
Preston doesn't have a mural, but they have the drop-down scoreboard, which is awesome, especially for basketball.
Yeah, the drop-down scoreboards are really cool. I'll agree with that one. Which one?
West Branch has a pretty cool mural.
Cheney's court is a cool, classic looking court too, with the C and just the little cowboy emblems in it. It's one of those old school feel courts, and I don't know if they've actually changed Cheney's court all that much in the last few years.
Well, Camels is going to look fly. We all know that. We've seen.
Yeah, I'm excited to see what theirs looks like. That one's going to be interesting.
Oh man, we got on a really big tangent with these. How do
I
we
know, just talking about.
I
I had a fun
get
conversation with it though.
How do we even get here? That's the thing.
Just talking about basketball, man. It's basketball fever. It's that time of year, man.
Oh man. So while we range closer to the end of the show, I want to reinstate for people that weren't listening earlier or just now tuning in. We do have girls soccer action tonight. One girls soccer team left in the YSN family. It is South Range. They are playing Doylestown Chippewa tonight in the regional semifinals, 7 o'clock at Marlington High School. Make sure to head out to that and support the Lady Raiders. And then we have, 3 boys matchups tomorrow night in soccer regionals. And 4 teams, 3 matchups. Ysn will play Crestview. That'll be at Boardman High School tomorrow at 6. Howland versus Bay Village will be in Nordonia at 7 o'clock. And Canfield versus Revere will be at Ravenna at 7 o'clock. So, we got soccer winding down. The volleyball will be in regionals on Thursday. That'll be Crestview playing Independence and Western Reserve playing Wellsville. We'll have both those games on ysnlive.com, by the way. And it worked out that it's staggered. Crestview plays at 6, and Wellsville Reserve play at around 7:30. So you'll be able to watch one and then hop on to another one.
Yeah, I mean, make sure you get out there and catch all those games too. And I mean, it'll be great to see the support for some of these teams, especially that Crestview Ursuline one. It should be fun at Boardman.
Oh yeah, right there, right down the street from it's a local regional matchup at Boardman High School. So
yeah, so it should be great too. It should be fun. Both, yeah, you said both driving times for both schools not too bad. So both schools should be able to get right there, and it should be a fun game.
Something we're going to talk to Coach Hour with tomorrow. She said I'd be glad that it's not on the same day as her game, because that's what she ran into on Saturday. Her son Mitch scored the game-winning goal for Crestview to beat Mooney. Unfortunately, she couldn't be there because she was driving on her way to Grand Valley for their district championship game, which they also won. So it was a big day for the Hours, but I'm sure she's happy that she doesn't have to leave at halftime to drive up to Barberton.
Yeah, no doubt. As now it should be fun though. Crestview going to be very prominent here this week upcoming.
Here come the Rebels, and we're guaranteed one team in the regional final because Ursuline and Crestview playing each other.
Yep, absolutely. And I mean, we love it. We love when we have all YSN teams in it, and we're guaranteed a team.
But you know what? We're greedy. We want more than one. You know,
we do. But hey, when
sports greed works. Okay, in sports greed works. Let's go.
Yeah. But this is a case where we're guaranteed someone's making it to the regional final. So we're going to be talking regional finals here on YSN.
You know, we have one tonight, 3 tomorrow. We might have some soccer to talk about and soccer guests last minute notice to talk about depending on who wins and who advances in the next couple of days as well. We don't want to leave soccer in the dust. You know what I'm saying? We'll definitely give soccer their just due, especially the teams that are able to advance to a regional final. We'll try to get as many guests on as possible to represent those teams that do put in the work and advance into the regional final, because that means you're one game away from state. You're one game away from that state semi.
Yeah. No doubt, and that's going to be obviously exciting times too, as we know the big teams too that we want to get onto, of course, on both the boys and girls side too. So obviously on the boys side too, we want to try to get Howland on at some time as well, because they're getting up there. We know that they're up.
This will be a good match. I think this will be the first time we see Howland really, really get tested. I mean, I know Louisville played them tough, 2-0. It was a close game. But now this is Bay Village. This is what it always comes down to. It's unfortunate that we see it in the regional semifinals instead of maybe a state semifinal or at least a regional final, but that's the way it works. And this was the team that gave Howland probably the biggest problem in last year's tournament. A lot of soccer people always kind of say, oh, well, whoever wins this game is at least going to get to the state championship. So Howland versus Bay Village tomorrow in Nordonia. At 7:00. That'll be a fun one. We'll talk about it more tomorrow. We're going to take a quick break, come back, and we'll wrap it up and preview what tomorrow's show is going to look like. You're watching Running Point on YSN Live, brought to you by Greenwood Chevrolet in Austintown.
Every customer has a story, and at Greenwood Chevrolet, we are committed to making sure it ends with you in the right vehicle. I get to be part of somebody's adventure, whether it's buying a car for the first time, helping them get approved, or finding the perfect car for their budget. I'm proud that people trust me with their finances. They trust me to take care of them, and they trust me with their story. I'm Tracy, and I'm ready to go the extra mile for you, only at Greenwood Chevrolet.
Working with your family can be stressful at times, but because they're family, you know that you're going to get a loving, honest answer, even when things don't make sense to any problem. Dealing with Medicare can be confusing and overwhelming. That's why here at Myers Family Insurance, we do our best to give you honest and caring answers to all of your questions. Family, like Medicare, isn't always perfect, but when you put others first, the results can be amazing.
For all your Medicare needs, call Myers Family Insurance.
It's storm season.
I think we're under the gun for some heavy storms over the next couple of hours.
And Storm Tracker 21 is ready.
This is probably the one we're keeping a closer eye on.
On air.
And locally, we're going to have a lot of eyes on our area.
Online.
All right, let's talk high-res futurecast and the timing of this weather.
On social media and on our app.
Notice we'll have scattered showers on Thursday.
Stay ready with Storm Tracker 21.
The severe weather threat now through around sunset this evening.
Hi, this is Tommy Clem, owner of WRS Insurance Solutions.
WRS Insurance Solutions is a local independent agency that specializes in life, Medicare, long-term care, and disability products. Call us at 330-953-3722 or visit us at wrsinsurancesolutions.com to learn more.
Good luck to all the student athletes in the Valley.
Hi, I'm Colin Chupa. And I'm Kelsey Clem from K-Squared Marketing. Our boutique marketing firm specializes in media planning and buying, public relations, event marketing strategies, and strategic sponsorships. We can integrate our services with your existing game plan, or we can be your entire marketing team. Your goals, our game plan. Let's win together. Call K-Squared Marketing at 330-623-2730 or visit ksquared.marketing to learn more.
Jimmy Sudman here, Director of Isle, Purple Cat, and Golden String. We are happy to support YSN and two of my favorite people, Scotty Mincher and Super Dave O'Malley. We are an agency that provides services for adults with disabilities. We infuse humor, passion, and joy into their lives. If you know of any folks with disabilities that need our assistance, please contact us.
Your teams work hard and give it all they've got. Well, so does ours, because 21 Sports and YSN give you extra effort when covering local sports. 21 Sports and YSN, winning coverage of our Valley's teams.
Planning a project around your home or rental property? Trust the electrical service to the local experts with 62 years of serving the Mahoning Valley. Joe Dickey Electric is your local go-to source for responsive, reliable residential electrical work. From everyday maintenance and repairs to new installations, electrical upgrades, and safety inspections, no job is too big or too small. Call Joe Dickey Electric today, 800-549-3976, or visit DickeyElectric.com. That's DickeyElectric.com.
Dealing with Medicare can be confusing and overwhelming. That's why here at Myers Family Insurance, we do our best to give you honest and caring answers to all of your questions. Family, like Medicare, isn't always perfect, but when you put others first, the results can be amazing.
Welcome back to Running Point on ysnlive.com, brought to you by Greenwood Chevrolet in Austintown. Anthony Hartwig with Ty Bartell. Wrapping up today's show, we want to thank Josh Scott, the Heartland boys basketball coach, for joining us, as well as James Francis-Shelley, the head coach over at McDonald, the boys program over there. Thank him for joining us as well. And then leading off the show, it was Ryan Snyder. We thank him for sticking with us and getting through some technical difficulties to get him on the show, head coach over at Lisbon for the girls program. On tomorrow's show, we have a fun, jam-packed, guest-filled day for you. Leading off the show at noon, it will be Dave Chrisman, the girls basketball coach at Columbiana, followed by Roy Simbach, the head coach of the Newton Falls boys. He'll join us at 12:15. At 12:45, Pat Birch, the head coach of the Boardman boys basketball team, will join us. And then at 1 o'clock, we will talk to members of the Crestview volleyball team, along with head coach Alicia Auer, about their season, their district championship, and preview their regional semifinal on Thursday. We'll also be having Scotty back in the studio tomorrow as well, so it'll be a very fun Wednesday. You will not want to miss it. From 12 to 2, we'll be right here. Until then, Casual Sports Podcast coming up from 2 to 3, Power Hour from 3 to 4, and we're taking a 22-hour break. We will see everyone tomorrow.